Ah, it's Biker, is it? What's the problem? Oh, I see. You just want some tips on keeping your bike tip-top, as we would say in the profession. Such things as what? Chain adjustment? Wheel alignment? Perhaps changing brake pads? Oh, I think we can help you there. But first, you'll need a few tools. When you start off with your bike, this is all you're going to get. Just a simple kit of tools, comes free with the bike, so they don't give you much, do they? Old buck spanner, adjustable little wrench, a few Allen keys, and there we go, fairly typical. So what should you get? Well, let's start with a set of spanners, good as any. Now, if you buy a cheap set from the local market store, you might get what's happened to this. This is a very old spanner, but see the jaws on that, if you see it against my coat, they've splayed there. If you try and fit that on a nice shiny new pin, it's just going to round the corners off. No good to man the beast. What you need is a decent set, and just make sure it fits nicely. Look at that, no problem at all. So buy yourself a decent kit. And by the way, these are called combination spanners because it's got an open end there, ring spanner in there. This is for getting more purchase on at this end. This one is for easy access in awkward spots. So there we go, there's spanners. Hammers, again you might think, not much in hammers. Engineer's hammer, ball peen that one's called. General purpose hammer, lovely feel to that. One of my favourites for giving stuff is a gentle tap. There, rubber-faced hammer, two edges. This one's well worn, this is, but you can bash fairly delicate stuff like aluminium casings with that. If a cover is tight on its pins, just give it a tap. You're not going to mark it, you're not going to damage any paint on that. This one, copper-faced hammer. This one's useful for hitting something of steel, wheel spindle or something that's proving a bit stubborn. You can give it a tap with that. You're not going to mark it because it's copper-faced. When it comes to sockets, there's an ideal one for bikes, fairly small sizes. I've got a second set as well with even more, but you've got a good range of metric sizes there, right down to diddy ones. You've got the screwdriver attachment type there to get on the smaller ones, get them into small places. Little universal joint there as well. Very useful kit. I also bought myself one of these, which you can see in all sorts of DIY stores. It's got a ratchet handle on it, but one of the things I bought it for was this. Very useful, this. It's a flexible drive. Needless to say, for going around corners. But put your sockets on there, and it's really good for getting inside that fairing. See, you can just bang away there. Excellent. Comes with a range of interchangeable bits from crossheads, flats. Very, very useful piece of kit. Really like that. Also, when talking about useful bits, I bought this as an addition. Again, on a bike, you're often tight for access. So this is for a socket set, but it's got an adjustable head there, so you can get into those awkward places. But I've built these up over time. Let's just move on a little bit to some specialised parts. See this? Some of you might recognise this. It's an impact driver. What we've got here is interchangeable bits on the end so that you can fit sockets on there, or you can fit crosshead screwdriver blades, or rather that's a flathead, or crosshead screwdriver blade like that one, the old Phillips job. And if you've got really stubborn screws that have been in for some time on an aluminium casing, put it on there, give this a fair old whack with a hammer, hold it there in the screw, good back, just like that. It shouldn't have happened, but on the tip of the screw, and in there is a screw thread, and it'll just slowly turn it, that little crack, and it'll come off. Really good. That's the old impact driver. Electrical work. Now, some of you might be frightened by electrical work, and if you are, believe me, I won't encourage you to have a play. But you can buy a little instrument like this for under a tenner, and it will give you voltage and current readings and resistance reading, and it's just useful if you are testing out the electrics on your bike. It's well worth investing in it instead of guesswork. Saves you money. Test your battery voltage at the end of the day. Know if you've really got a flat battery. Now here's a little secret at the end. Rubber gloves. Looks like surgeon gloves. Well, they are in a way, but you can buy these from any good store, any good chemist. And they're very useful if you've got a really cruddy job to do on the bike and you're messing around with the chain or changing oil or whatnot. Stick a pair of these on. They're just disposable things, but oils are carcinogenic. They can involve or cause skin cancer, and you don't want that. Wear a pair of gloves, keep the nasties away. What else have we got here? A couple of bits I nearly missed. To supplement your kit when you're on the road, carry some cable ties. Now you've seen these around on wiring looms. All they do is just go through that little slot there, pull them up tight around the frame tubes. But they're incredibly useful when you're on the bike. You can connect them together. You could make this 4 or 5 foot long if you wanted to. You could hold on your luggage on the back of the bike. But it's a very useful get you home device, cable ties. Also copper wire. I always carry some copper wire in my kit. Again, if a screw drops out of the bike, bit of copper wire through the hole, tie the fairing panels together or whatever. It'll hold something on until you get home. Where are you going to get the copper wire from? You must all have a bit of home wiring cable at home, knocking around in the garage, some extension that's been done. Just strip the insulation off, pull the copper wire out, and just make yourself up a little coil. But it's so malleable and so flexible, you can do a lot with it. And finish off, bit of insulation tape, again really useful. And even better is the old duct tape, the silver duct tape. Racers use it, they use it to patch the leathers, patch the bike. You can buy it in all sorts of widths. It's a fabric reinforced adhesive tape, very, very strong, waterproof as well. It's called duct tape because ventilation engineers used to use it, or not used to, still use it, to type up the joints on the air conditioning ducting, keep the air out. And so duct tape, that's called. Very useful stuff. Now that's a sample of the tools. There's more tools, of course. But with that kit, you'll be able to do nearly every job you want to do on your bike. But in a series we're going to be running called Tech Tips, we're going to be introducing a few of these tools as we go.